in the studio live right now. Coming up, he is performing this afternoon with Steve Masikowski and Martin Masikowski live in the WWOZ studios on the banks of the mighty Mississippi in New Orleans. Please, wherever you are, cheer and scream and be happy. We've got live Warren Battiste on the air right now. Take it away, gentlemen.
One.
Everybody, live from New Orleans on WWOZ 90.7 FM, Mr. Warren Battiste, along with the Masikowski Boys. I'm not sure that's the name of the band, but it might be. All right, everybody.
Masikowski Brothers.
Okay, that works. Hey, everybody, just let you know, it's 12:14. We're listening to legendary New Orleans guitarist Warren Battiste live on WWOZ, something you can only hear here. Mr. Warren, thanks so much for taking time out of your day to come see us.
And thanks for having me. I'm enjoying everything.
You bet. I owe you an apology because I was put out on social media this morning. I was so excited that you were coming, but I had told everyone you were actually 98, and I understand I have aged you inappropriately.
Well, 97, 98, what's the difference?
So tell us, Warren. Tell me a little about. I mean, you were born in New Orleans, right? And you were born into a musical family.
Yes, my father was a banjo and a guitar player, and when I was about 8 years old, I used to watch him play. After he came home from work, it was kind of a therapeutic thing for him to relax after he came from work. And every evening he'd sit down after 5 o'clock and he'd play the guitar. And the banjo.
Okay.
And then I would sit in between his leg and watch every move he made. And this happened until about maybe 3.5 years, from 8 to 11 or 12, 11. And I could think of everything he did. Now, when he went to work, he was very sensitive about his guitar and banjo. I would take his banjo out, and I would play everything he did. I emulated it, and I had a good mind for remembering things. And I always put it back before he came from work at 5 o'clock, because he was very sensitive about his instrument. And one evening I got so involved playing it, I saw him standing over me. I said, "Oh, I'm going to get it," And he was surprised. He said, "I didn't know you liked this." He said, "I'm going to go into the dresser drawer and get a book, and I want you to learn some of this. And then after every evening, I'm going to, show you when I come from work." And that's how I started.
That's amazing.
I didn't know. I made all the chords, but I didn't know the names of them.
Well, the old joke about knowing enough about music, but not too much, or something like that, to get into trouble.
And so after I went to the service, and I got out of the service. Then there was a GI Bill. They had educational music for 4 years. So
really?
I did that, and that's what really I started around 20 years old. I'm a late bloomer.
Where did you go to school for music?
There was a school on Camp Street called Grunwald School of Music. I think it was associated with Walgreens, something like that. No, Worldline. Worldline. And so I did that, but I don't know. I didn't absorb anything from it. Maybe I wasn't paying attention, or I don't know. But
did you already know all the stuff they were trying to tell you?
Yes. And I kind of relate to the chords that I couldn't name.
Mm-hmm.
And I relate to some of the theories. They taught me manuscript writing, composition, all kinds of stuff. And I got some of it, but I didn't pay too much attention because I was interested in the guitar itself, the physical kind of thing, rather than the theory.
So were you playing, and so you're a little over your 20, 25, 30, something like this about now. Were you starting to play professionally around this time?
Well, I never really considered myself professional, really. I just wanted to play and sit in with the band and enjoy it. But you guys made me a legend.
Well, thank you for helping along the way.
You guys made that up. And so the way I came to went to New York was there was a guy coming in town from Texas called Illinois Jaquette.
Mm-hmm.
That was in the 59, 60s. He used to come from Texas because he enjoyed being in New Orleans. And he heard me play somewheres because New Orleans was very popular with music and it was more open.
Mm-hmm.
And he heard me play. He said, I would like to take it to New York. And I said, I don't know about New York because I was a slow learner and I wasn't a street guy and I wasn't that hip. You know what I mean?
Now you were
So
extremely
I
hip.
said, I have to ask my parents. I mean, I was that old. That's how developed I was. And they said, yeah, go it on. And I said, all right. So I went, and they took me to a place called Minton's.
Mm-hmm.
It's still there on 118th and 7th Avenue. And he told the guys, he said, I got a guitar player from New Orleans. I want you to hear him. I was good then, better than I am now. And I set up and I was hot dogging it all the way. And I played. And after I got through playing, on the session, it was Thelonious Monk. All of these great guys, and I got scared. They weren't popular at that time. I mean, recently they got there. But I was playing with all Wynton Kelly and all the old timers. They're gone now, you know. And that's the story about that, sir. And when I came back, before I came back to New Orleans, I was getting plenty jobs. Everybody was hiring me. I said, oh, yeah, well, I'm going to go with it. So I stayed a month longer than my parents allowed me to stay, and I called them up. And I made a few gigs and made a lot of friends. And I decided I wanted to come back because at that time, before that, I was stationed in New Jersey to service. I was in the Army Air Force. And on the weekends, I used to go to the jam session in New York. Mm-hmm. And the late Warren Bell, the saxophone player, mm-hmm. he was there. And Dizzy Gillespie wanted him. I mean, but I don't know if he accepted the job or not. But I mean, it's a long story, and sometimes I get mixed up in my conversation, but that's the story of that.
All right, well, we'll hold off on that because we're gonna talk some more. Tell me about the guys that you brought with you today.
Oh, the great Steve Masikowski. You know what they call him on the street?
What's that?
Monsterkowski.
I thought it was going to be something you couldn't say on radio.
Monster. I said, well,
Hector Gallardo.
We were playing at a gig at Snug Harbor, a couple of sessions. I mean, and we played about 4 or 5 gigs, mm-hmm. and we were playing in the speed. He has this octopus fingers, and when we stopped playing, I told the audience, I said, "You see how fast he plays?" I said, "This is the note he's looking for."
All right, well,
I tease him a lot.
Speaking of playing at Snug Harbor, I know one of the reasons you're here, and I'll ask you about that in a sec, but I want to remind everybody who's listening that it's 1222 on WWOZ 90.7 FM New Orleans. We're talking to the legendary Warren Battiste live in the studio. Was born in New Orleans around 1925.
Yeah.
And you can stream this right now if you're listening by your computer or your phone, I guess nowadays, live on Facebook and our YouTube channel. And tell me a little bit about the gig that you have coming up, and then we'll do another song, and we'll come back and pick up your story after you hung out with Dizzy and Thelonious and all those kind of dudes. What's coming up at Snug Harbor this week?
Well, Steve and
Steve and Martin. Yeah, well, we have the first gig's coming up, and I just want to put a little plug. It's Sunday. It's the Masikowski family, and my son Martin's going to be playing bass, mm-hmm. and my daughter Sasha's going to sing, and it's kind of a going away party for Sasha because she's actually moving to Berlin
really
next week. So that's coming up this Sunday, and then the following Wednesday is the gig with Warren, and it's me and Martin and a really great drummer named Doug Belote.
Sure.
And we'll be playing at Snug Harbor next Wednesday night, so everybody come see that.
So, Steve, I guess just to let's save this question for after the tune. Well, I want to ask you about how you all hooked up and got together. But I guess first of all, what was the first tune that y'all played?
Oh, that was Warren. What was the first blues? He called it Jason.
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 Jason for
and associated with the guy who runs the music thing at Snug Harbor.
Oh, it was Jason, not Chasen.
Yeah, well, that's what I thought.
Was it Chasen?
I thought he said Chasen, and then he said Jason. And I said that you should call it Chasen Jason.
Yeah, right.
Anyway,
all right. Well, cool. Let's tell you what. Let's do another tune. We'll come back. We'll talk a little. We'll remind people again about the gigs coming up. We'll hear a little bit more about what happened after New Jersey and jamming in New York with some cool cats back in the '60s, and see what's up next on the calendar for y'all. What do you think? What's on the menu next for our tune?
I don't know.
I don't know where.
Ah, beautiful.
Yeah. Okay.
All right, man. That is fabulous. That was beautiful. You have such a Warren. You have such a sophisticated touch when you play the guitar. You know, for as long as you've been playing and all the different things all the different styles, you've really developed a real sensitive touch that really goes into my soul when I listen to you play. It's beautiful, Warren.
Thank you. I'm
You're-
a little rusty this morning. I'm missing a few things I'd like to do, you know?
Well, it is early. It's early for you musician guys.
Yeah.
Right. or very late.
Yeah. I missed- maybe other people couldn't recognize, but I missed a lot.
This is the one you were trying to get
That
that. note there.
that one.
You were looking for that note.
Yeah, he's trying to get back at me.
No, right.
So Warren, tell me a little more, just to remind everybody what's going on here. It is 12:32 in New Orleans. You're listening live to WWOZ 90.7 FM New Orleans, WWOZ.org all over the world. We have 97 years young Warren Battiste in the studio, along with the Masikowski brothers, Steve and Martin, backing them up today. And it's quite a treat and quite an honor. So, Warren, I guess while we're talking about it too, let's remind everybody one of the cool things. Steve, remind us what's coming up gig-wise this next week.
Yeah, Sunday is the Masikowski family, and my daughter Sasha, my son Martin, and myself and Doug Belote. That's Sunday night at Snug Harbor, 8 and 10. And then, of course, the gig we're really promoting tonight is the one with Warren next Wednesday. I don't know what the date is. I think it's June 1st, right?
No, 31st.
31st, I think.
May 31st. That's right.
Right.
May 31st, Wednesday night at Snug Harbor with the great Warren Battiste, myself, Martin, and a great drummer named Doug Belote. So we hope to see everybody there. Same time, same place, 8 and 10 o'clock.
Excellent. So we just heard Out of Nowhere. So before that tune, Warren, we were talking about how you were still, I guess, stationed in New Jersey and going to New York and jamming with some cats. Tell me a little more about some of the people with whom you have played that you thought were particularly memorable, or who maybe influenced you, or maybe even that you think you influenced.
Well, like I mentioned before, I learned all the chords from my father, and I didn't know, the names of them. But after I graduated from the school, I finally figured out the names and the notes I was playing and the position I was in, and I sort of like trial and error connected everything together, yeah. And you asked me about some of the musicians.
Yeah, some of the
in New York?
people, some of the people who that you've had the opportunity to play with that you enjoyed. You don't need to tell me about the ones you didn't like, but people that you like playing with or things like that.
Who were some of the people you went to school with? Because at Grunewald, you had some
was
Justin Adams,
Ernest McLean,
Ernest McLean,
Wallace Davenport, Earl Palmer.
Wow.
There was a lot of let's see, Warren Bell. My memory is kind of shot. I'm trying to think, and all the guys that were in New Orleans at that time went to school with, and some of them really helped me out. Ernest McLean, he was a great guitar player. He helped me out a little bit too, in addition to the schooling and all of that. And Wallace Davenport. These are all names. These guys are gone, so I don't know if the younger people will recognize these names,
Yeah.
And then when I went to New York, I met the bass player. He played with Ron Carter. Not Ron Carter. That's his name, Ron Carter. My memory is shot now.
Holding on pretty good,
I
I
want to
think.
say Ron Carter, but 97, I think I'm doing pretty good. Ron Carter, a lot of the guys, off the top of my head, I can't remember
Okay.
right now. I should have prepared.
That's all right. You don't need to prepare. We got you handled. All you need to do is come in and be you.
Yeah.
So, Steve, let me ask you. So, you're here. When did you meet Mr. Battiste, and what kind of effect has he had on your life?
It's funny because I'm born and raised in New Orleans, and I started playing guitar when I was I guess, in my teens, and I studied with a sort of the big guitar guru down here named Hank Mackey. He taught a lot of the guitar players at a place called World of Strings, and that was owned by Roger Filiberto, because I think that's where you got that first book from. I remember on this other interview you were talking about that music book was from Filiberto's music. That was another place where people would go to learn, especially guitar, because Roger was a excellent guitar player, and I learned from Hank Mackey. But it's funny, Warren had moved away at that time, so I had nobody knew Warren. Warren was in New York, you know, so I didn't know anything about Warren until I met you when we played a gig at Snug Harbor, and that was about 10 years ago or so. I'm not sure when the first one was, but you came back to visit, and we played at Snug Harbor, and I guess Jason thought it was a good idea if we put 2 guitar players with it. And from there, we struck up a friendship, and we've been playing ever since. And whenever you come to town and play at Snug, you know, I usually play with you. And, of course, at the University of New Orleans, where I was teaching, you know, we had you at the Jazz at the Sandbar with I had a guitar ensemble that you played with, and we did a really nice interview with you, too, that's people can see on YouTube. Interview with Henrik Larsson was the interviewer.
Yeah, I enjoyed that.
Yeah, that was really cool. That was I learned a lot about your history from there. You know, for sure. You know, so yeah, I didn't know anything about Warren when I was growing up because he was not here, and I was listening to people like Joe Pass and Wes Montgomery and playing with the local musicians, and then just kind of a roundabout way, Warren came back to town and we started playing, you know, so that's my story.
That's a good story. So Warren, are there people that are out there playing today, younger people maybe, that you think that were inspired by you or learned things that from what you did and your experience?
Well, to be honest with you, I thought they knew more because time progress, I thought they would learn more technical and more ideas than I had. And I had no idea that I influenced anyone because I consider myself old hat. Because look how long I've been playing with this old stuff, this old idea.
Yeah.
And there's always advancement coming up.
Yeah.
And I thought maybe they surpass what I have done.
I don't know. You got that special thing that a lot of the young players want to get to, you know, that's just you know, you're probably not aware of it, but
right.
We are, you know.
And I didn't think so. Quite a few people told me that they were looking for what I had, and I'm thinking my old-fashioned, old time is obsolete.
But see, that wonderful thing about music is great music never becomes obsolete. It lives forever, and it's something that everyone around the world can share and appreciate and enjoy.
Well, hell with music. I want to know your secret to longevity. So I can come do an interview when I'm 97 years old.
I can't say it on the air.
There you go. All right.
All right, okay.
And speaking of
longevity is, my wife, she's a whole food kind of a thing.
Oh.
Health food and this and that. And I'll go to McDonald's in a minute. And they tell me McDonald's is garbage.
Oh. Well.
But I love McDonald's and Burger King and all of that.
Okay, we're going to go to McDonald's after
there
this.
There you go. Still got plenty of time for lunch. Hey, all right, everybody. Hey, we're talking live to legendary Warren Battiste from right here in New Orleans, born in 1925, along with Steve and Martin Masakowski, talking about the Masakowski family gig this Sunday, I think, at Snug, and Warren's fabulous gig at Snug on Wednesday the 31st. The shows at Snug are 8 and 10. Everybody who's listening, you can stream this interview live on the WWOZ Facebook and YouTube page. And I think I've asked all the pertinent questions that I want to find out about, and I wanted to, next time we get together, Warren, we can talk more about some of the people that you've played with, some of the legendary musicians and groups and places that you have been, probably where history was being made, and you're probably a big part of history, and knowing you, the little I know you, probably just thought, man, I was just doing my thing. I didn't know it was historical. I was just trying to do the best I could do.
Yeah.
All right, guys. Well, that's great. Well, I'll tell you what. If you're ready, we can wrap it up with one more tune. Remember, everybody, Snug Harbor, the Masikowski family, and Shasha's going away. When's she leaving?
She's leaving next week, but
Oh.
you know, she's a person of the world. She's going,
Yeah.
she's going all
She's
over the place.
worldly.
She has to come back and in the States and play some gigs with Nicholas Payton, and so she'll be all over the place. But she wants to just check out Berlin for a minute.
Well, cool. Y'all see the Masikowski family on Sunday and see the legendary Warren Battiste on Wednesday at Snug. This is WWOZ 90.7 FM New Orleans, WWOZ.org, all over our wonderful world. It is 12:41. We have the unique pleasure of having Warren Battiste in the studio. He is going to grace us with one more tune. Gentlemen, what's next?
The Days of Wine and Roses.
Oh, fabulous. Thank you, gentlemen.
Yeah, okay.
1, 2, 1, 2, 3.
right, everybody, one more time. Warren Battiste, Steve Masikowski, Martin Masikowski. Remember, Masikowski family gig on Sunday at Snug Harbor. Warren Battiste gig Wednesday at Snug Harbor. And I guess, gentlemen, one more thing I guess I forgot to ask you. Do you all have any website things or anything like that you would like to tell us about?
I have a manager, and they handle all of that for me because I'm not computer savvy. You know?
I'm gonna look into Warren's manager too. No, if you can spell our last name Masikowski, then you're doing pretty good. You'll come up with a bunch of hits.
Well, Martin is easy to remember.
Yeah, that's easy, bro.
That's easy.
Yeah, right.
All right, gentlemen. Thank you very much. Have a wonderful afternoon.
All right.
Guys, I look forward to seeing you again soon. Thank you again, Warren.
And I want to thank Martin and Steve for helping me out. I hope I didn't aggravate him because I made a lot of mistakes this morning. You know? It's not one of my good days.
Yeah, right. Right. Yeah, you always say that.
Any day you're on WWOZ is a good day, guys.
Thank you.
All right. Thank you, gentlemen.